We are taking a look at the graphing piecewise function section of your packet. Step 1, you're going to make a table for each equation/domain. Remember, they go together. Step 2, we're going to use the n values from the domain as your x values in the table. However, it's possible you may have to choose one. And this is going to happen if it doesn't list two numbers in the domain. If it gives you something like x is less than 1, you're going to use 1, the number given, and also choose a number less than 1 to also use. Step 3, you're going to plug x into the equation to find y for all the tables. And then last but not least, step 4, you're going to determine if it's a dot or arrow and plot. If you're choosing the number, you're going to use an arrow. If you're picking a number for any of the symbols, like this or this, that's going to tell you a different kind of dot. So open dot for these ones, closed dot for these. So let's take a look at that class example. So on the next page here is our class example. The first thing it says to do is make a table for each of these. And I'm going to write down the equation that goes with each of these tables so I can remember. Okay, next up we pick the x values based on the domain. So if we look at this first equation, the 2x one, my domain has a -4 in it, so I'm definitely going to use -4, but it doesn't have a second number, so this is when we need to choose one. This reads x is less than -4, so I'm going to choose a number smaller than -4, like -5. It's okay if you choose a different number than me. For the next one, this domain does include two numbers, so I'm going to use these exact numbers, -3 and -1. My next domain also includes two numbers, -1 and 5, so those are the two numbers I'm going to use. Next up, we're going to plug these x values into the original equation to find the y. So -4 gets plugged in here for x. 2 times -4 is -8. 2 times -5 is -10. For this equation, since there's no x to plug into, no matter what number, I'm going to get an answer of 5. In this next one, a negative times a -1 gets me a +1. A negative times a +5 gets me a -5. And last, we're going to choose our kind of dots and arrows. So, -4, if I look when -4 is given, it's a less than symbol, so this is an open dot. The -5, remember, is that number we chose, so that's the tricky part. This is going to be an arrow. And I know the arrow is going to go to the left since it's a less than number. For this -3, I have a less than or equal to symbol, so that's a closed dot. Also at -1 is less than or equal to, so another closed dot. In the next domain, this -1 has an open dot as well as 5. Now we can go ahead and plot our points. So at -4, -8, I'm going to have an open dot. At -5, -10, I'm going to have an arrow. So what I'm going to do is go from my open dot and then draw the arrow going to the left. Next up, -3, 5 has a closed dot. -1, 5, also closed dot. And then I can connect these since they're part of the same table. -1, 1 is an open dot. 5, -5 is an open dot, and then these get connected as well. And that is your piecewise.